first question is the easiest. Why are you running for mayor of Vancouver?
Because I care about this city and I want this city to be a place where everybody feels that they can thrive and have a good life. And I feel that under the current leadership, it's not happening. And I think that it's been broken. And not a slight on Ken, but I don't think Ken's been leading with empathy. I just don't think that's his leadership style. And I think that there's a need for a pivot and really a change in how we approach the governing of this city.
You talk about this mayor, in your eyes, lacking empathy with some of his decisions. So, but I'm curious if you can point to a few specifics of what's happened under City Hall, under the Sim administration, that you really find galling, or that if you had been mayor, definitely would not have happened.
I mean, I think there's a broader cautionary tale in here where we, elected a guy who really didn't know the job and who promised to run the city like a business. And of course, the city's not a business, and there is a level of understanding and appreciation for how governance works. And Ken didn't come in with that, and because he lacked that experience and that insight, he surrounded himself with a backroom team, and a lot of decisions have been happening behind closed doors.
Just to get into this in terms of styles a little bit more, when you might approach these issues around crime and safety and drug overdose, which have existed in the downtown east side for a long time, but certainly have sort of increased in intensity, shall we say, over the last 5 or 6 years, like what are you specifically going to look at or want to do to really change the trajectory there?
Well, I think one of the fundamental pieces, and when we talk about community safety, I think the underlying piece is that we have so much street disorder because there's nowhere else for folks to go. So under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, people have a right to exist on the streets or in the doorways if they have nowhere else to go. So we need to find sort of almost a diversion to give people somewhere better to go. The reality is that a lot of the shelter systems aren't open in the daytime, so we have folks who are basically waiting for shelters to open overnight, and then they're left to drift around the city and wait for the shelters to reopen.
On the question of specifics is, are you going to have a platform come out sometime over the spring or summer with some detailed proposals of what a Fry administration would do, or bylaws passed, or specific lobbying actions?
Absolutely. There'll be, I'll say for now, my sort of North Star is sort of a 5-pointed star, and it all centers around community. And it's the ideas about community services, so making sure that we're investing in public infrastructure, which I think is a huge part of our kind of livability quotient. And in addition to adding housing, we need to ensure that we have parks and community centers and those kind of things. Community economy, so making sure that small businesses can thrive and that we are fostering an environment where permits aren't strangling small businesses and red tape's not strangling small businesses. Community well-being, where people feel that they belong in this city and where they have, that sense of belonging and health. Community leadership, I think, is a big part of it, where, part of my focus is not to be so much around winner takes all partisan politics, rather to be the leader and to bring a disparate set of voices that represent all of Vancouver, because I do believe, and as Greens, we're more of a values-driven party than a partisan party. We're idealists, not ideologues. And we believe that a plurality of voices actually makes us better and stronger. And that I earnestly believe is the way to lead in this city, because I think that winner takes all politics is not serving us well.